Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to my YouTube channel, From Darkness to Light Radio Podcast, Recovery Life Coaching. I'm your host, Coach TJ. Thank you guys for joining me for this episode. If you guys want to hear more of my commentary, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification button to receive notifications of my videos. I am a certified recovery life coach that's all about helping people on their paths, their journeys, and their purpose to a new and better you through self-discovery. My goal as a life coach is to help people that are recovering from negative situations, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's mental, psychologically, emotional, physical, sexual abuse, when it comes to trauma, when it comes to adversity of things that you have been through, where you have hit rock bottom when it comes to your finances, divorces, when it comes to grief, when it comes to negative situations that you have been through due to negative people, and you're trying to overcome those particular things. Also, addictions with drugs, alcohol, codependency, gambling, sex addiction, when it comes to being a people pleaser addiction, when it comes to being Captain Save-A-Ho, Build-A-Bears, Build-A-Dolls, when it comes down to being seat fillers and trying to do all of these things as far as lowering yourself when it comes to who you are as a person, when you are trying to be a part of something that you don't need to be a part of, and also rejection, just to name a few things. Now, today, I am sitting here at my table and I am getting ready to make dinner. Now, what am I making today? I am making a salad and I'm also making some meatballs, and I am right now prepping all of this. So if I don't make the meatballs today, I will at least have them prepped and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and I may have to get up, but I'll still be talking because I forgot to bring the seasoning that's going into the meatballs. But you'll see me mix it together, and then I'm gonna add the seasoning, everything into it, and then I'm going to either bake them or I'm going to fry them. It just depends on what I choose to do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is show y'all the ingredients that I'll be using. I'll be using, of course, an onion because you have to have an onion in your meatballs. Cause I love my meatballs with onions. Then I'm also going to be using, of course, some nice little tomatoes for my salad. I also have in this bag some cucumbers, and I'll show y'all my little cucumbers that I'll be using for my nice little salad. Bear with me 1 second, let me pull them out. Here's my cucumbers. So I have my cucumbers. I also have, of course, my meat that I'm going to be using. I'm probably going to be putting this back in the refrigerator until I get ready to actually use it because I don't want it to go bad. So I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator right quick. And then I'm going to also have, of course, my nice little spinach here that I'm going to be making my salad out of. And then, of course, my nice little mushrooms here that are going in my salad as well. I'm also going to do a boiled egg. And I'm also, of course, going to put some chicken in my salad. So one thing about me, I love chicken in my salad. I love turkey and I love ham. So that's also going in my salad as well. So I always do my videos in two parts. The first part is me prepping everything. and then the second part is me actually cooking everything. A lot of people don't think to do that. They don't think to prep before they start. So before I start on my hamburger, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the refrigerator until I get ready to start using it because I don't want it to go bad. So let me also show y'all. Of course, I always show y'all the back of the things that I use and how many calories. This is 200 calories. So even though I'm not eating all of this, I need people to understand I'm going to be using all of it, but I'm not going to be eating all of it at one time. And this is per 4 ounces, and it has 15% fat, 20% saturated fat. Cholesterol is 30%, 4% of sodium, no carbohydrate, no carbs. It has 38% of protein. So I have two of these, so it's going to be 400 calories. But like I said, I'm not going to be eating all of this at one time. But I'm going to be using both of these in order to make my hamburger. So what I'm going to do is put these back in the refrigerator, and then when I get ready to use them, I'm going to go back and get them, and then I'm going to show y'all what I'm going to do with my meatballs. So I also need to get my seasoning and stuff, so bear with me. So I forgot to get it before I started my live. So I hope you guys will enjoy what I'm getting ready to do. So let's get started. But I'm also going to do a smoothie as well, because I have not eaten all day long. I have been pretty much fasting all day. This is the first thing I've ate today. So I'm gonna start with the actual, I'm gonna put these on last because this is going on top. So my lettuce and tomatoes are gonna go in here. My chicken's gonna go in another container because I might be using that chicken tomorrow as well when I make the meatballs. If I make this stuff tonight, I might just make a salad. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up my nice little cucumber here. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut both of them because the fact that I'm gonna put everything in a container, because whatever I don't use, I can use on the next salad I'm gonna use later. I like to pre-prep everything because, like, just in case I decide I want to make another salad, I have mushrooms, cucumbers, and everything together. But I'm gonna do something a little bit weird. I'm actually gonna use this container to probably put mine, it depends on how much it is, and put my mushrooms in here. So I'm about to pre-prep. So while I'm pre-prepping everything, we're gonna have a conversation, but I forgot something. And why does my cucumber look like this? It looks really weird. It's amazing how cucumbers just don't look the same as they used to look. This one just looks weird. So I don't know. I hope this ain't one of them cucumbers that is the lab cucumbers, because then I'm gonna be mad. Let me go get my peeler and then we'll get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my mushrooms first because they're dry before I start cutting up anything that's gonna be wet. So now that I have my peeler and now that I have everything, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the mushrooms first. And so while, like I said, while I'm sitting here cutting everything and getting everything together, I will be talking to y'all about recovery. Recovery is an everyday thing. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. My mushrooms. It's not something that goes, a lot of people think that when they heal, as far as physically, that you're better. No. You, far as the external part of something, yeah, it does heal, but it doesn't mean that internally you're not going to be struggling, because you will be. So when it comes down to recovery, you need to understand that mentally and psychologically, a lot of times we psych ourselves out because we think that because physically we have healed, that it means that mentally we have healed, when that is the furthest from the truth. Because if you don't understand the importance of you being healthy and taking care of your health, and the importance of understanding that you're not healthy just because you look healthy. There are a lot of people that always talk about people that are overweight and always talk about them as far as their weight. But then later on down the line, some years later, you see these people again, and you're like, oh my God, this is how this person looks now. This person looks like this. So you never thought in a million years that you would see a person that basically was a bully looking at their worst. And then when you see these people, you're like, oh my God, what has happened to you? It's like you just have gotten older. And some people that bully you, when you see them 10 years later at your reunion, you be like, wait a minute, you were the person that was bullying me, or that person you had that crush on all them years ago. You see them and you're like, God, what happened to you? That's my point. I'm telling you, karma is something that people need to understand. It's not something to play with. Karma ain't something that you want to just sit there and just think you have the right to talk about somebody. And then I always ask myself, why do people even approach people that they think are negative? So there's a difference between physical negativity and internal negativity. So there's a difference between physical and mental negativity. A lot of people always want to make somebody feel bad because they have a disability, or because they're not attractive as far as society standards, or there's someone that feels as though that this person don't belong for whatever the reason may be. And I always ask myself, why do people who claim they're better than someone else sitting here messing with someone that has not done anything to them at all? All this person did was exist. That's the only thing they did. But yet you got people making them feel bad because of the fact they exist. There are millions of people that commit suicide every day because parents keep telling them to act like what happened to them didn't exist. I seem to hear that quite a lot. That people tell you that when your feelings are hurt, to suck it up. They tell you that, I didn't mean to do it. I only did it because of this. You made me do it. Nobody made you do anything. Nobody forced you to put your hands on somebody. And every time I think about that, I think about domestic violence victims. When you have people that are married to a person and every day they're verbally, mentally, psychologically, and doing all these negative things to this person. And this person has not done anything except exist. And then when the person decides they want to leave, all of a sudden is, if I can't have you, no one can, which is why millions of women are being unalived every day by their husbands. And it's crazy how the reasons why these people unalive these people. They don't unalive them because of what y'all think. It's more or less like, even though this person may go and cheat on a person, and they may go and do all these abusive things to this person, once it hits them what they've done, once the person says something, or there's charges, or there's some type of consequence, repercussion, and karma, then all of a sudden there's a person that is going to unalive someone. So, for example, if you have someone that sexually assaults a person, and then after they sexually assault the person, they unalive the person. And then the person is saying, I'm not going to say nothing. All I want you to do is just let me go. No, they're going to unalive you. So if someone does something negative to you and you decide to do something about it, meaning you decide to go to the authorities, you decide to press charges, or you decide to survive it, best believe they're going to come after you and they're going to try to unalive you. Why? Because they don't want to get caught, even though they're going to get caught anyway. Even though it's going to come out they did what they did because of DNA, that does not mean that person's not going to unalive you. So if you see someone at an ATM, right, and this person decides to kidnap you and take you and then take all your money, and you're telling them to let you go, all you want them to do is just let you go. You done gave them everything they wanted, and then they unalive you. Because even though they did the crime, they don't want to do the time. Even though negative people say stuff to other negative people, say stuff to positive people, it doesn't mean they want to deal with the consequences and repercussions. So the reason why a lot of people are telling people to lower themselves, to lower their standards, because it's easier for them to take advantage of you. It's easier for them to manipulate you if they can get you to lower yourself. So when people telling you you're ugly, you're fat, you're this and you're that, the only reason they're doing that is because they want to see you hurt. You have people that get a kick out of seeing people hurt. seeing people cry, seeing people struggle. You have people that have enslaved people for a long period of time. So it's just funny how people tell you that who you are and who you're supposed to be. And the reason so many people have low self-esteem and low self-worth is because they're basing themselves on people that really are not even on the same level as them. So you have people that are like very smart and very brilliant people, but yet you got people that ain't nowhere near as smart as person telling them, oh, you're not good enough, you're not this, and you're that. How are you gonna tell me who I am and you don't know me? But then again, parents do it as well. This behavior comes from parents. When your parents have expectations of you and they're sitting there calling you fat and ugly and all these negative things, then you're opening the door for somebody else to do it to your child. So the fact that your child is not making straight A's, you're in your feelings because they're not making straight A's. But yet and still, your other child, who ain't nowhere near as smart, or the one that you think is a good child, that you ain't got nothing to worry about, you're sitting there praising them because they have friends and they're hanging around a bunch of people. But that's the same one that's gonna end up unaliving you when you try to tell them what to do. So you have a lot of kids that are very, very spoiled and very, very entitled. And then when the parents try to reel them in, they can't reel them in because they done spoiled this child, and this child thinks they can't do no wrong. So because the child thinks they can't do no wrong, they pretty much can do whatever they want to anybody else because they're able to get away with it from their parents. So you have a lot of parents that what they do is they will pretty much buy their child as far as things, and that's their way of showing love. So then when a child gets older, that's what they're going to be expecting, and that's going to be their love language, money. So you have a lot of girls that are very much out here doing this because of the fact they don't have a father. So now because they don't have a father, they're looking for a father figure, which in turn they're looking for a man. And a lot of these girls have watched their mothers do this stuff, and they're seeing all these celebrity women doing all this stuff, and they're thinking, okay, that's how I'm gonna get money. So when I think about love, I think about men. And because some of these women have watched their mothers go through something, they don't even, when it comes to love, they ain't even trying to be a part of it. But what they are trying to do is get money. You have a lot of women that's out here getting pregnant just for the bag. They care nothing about the child. They don't care nothing at all about their well-being. When a child get 18 years old, the money that's supposed to go to the child doesn't even go to them at all. And I don't understand why it is that, they don't make these men pretty much put a trust for their child. So all the money they're getting in child support, instead of giving it to the mother, why not put it in a trust? And so if the child needs something, they just say, okay, well, this is how much you need to give her for what she needs as far as for the child. So in other words, she calls the father, tells the father, look, my child needs this, and he just goes and gets it. Now, if men took it upon themselves to go do it themselves and go buy the stuff, be knowing this child gonna need this stuff every year, every day, then you wouldn't be going through what you're going through. But there are a lot of men that don't want to be fathers, but yet you want to take off condoms. But okay. So if you want to take the risk of being, getting somebody pregnant that you're not in a relationship with, that falls on the man. But it also, I mean, like I said, it falls on both men and women because both parties are out here being irresponsible. Women are allowing men to be irresponsible by allowing them to take off condoms. So when it comes to recovery, it basically starts from when you hit rock bottom. So when you hit rock bottom and you are in the worst place of your life, it means that everybody has abandoned you. The negative people have left you for dead, and they think that you're not dead. They don't think you're alive. They think you're dead, and you are left out there trying to survive. So a good example of the first stage of recovery is somebody, let's say they were out somewhere and they got lost. And I use Castaway for example, the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks went somewhere and ended up getting lost at sea and ended up on an island and did not have no way to basically get out of the situation. And the first thing that he had to do was accept his circumstance. That's the first thing you have to do when it comes to recovery, is accept the fact of the situation that you're facing. That's the first thing. Once you realize the circumstance that you're in, then you need to deal with the emotions that's centered around it. Because when you deal with the emotions that are centered around what you're going through, then what happens is you're dealing with the emotions of what those people have done to you. So by you accepting the situation that happened to you, and I mean the full situation from beginning to end, you have to play back in your mind how you got here. That's the third thing. So after you accept what happened, now you have to rewind yourself and ask yourself, how did I get here? So when you start playing back in your mind how you got here step by step, you're going to realize that somebody else led you here. You didn't just get in this situation because you yourself got into it. You let other people influence you. And most of the reasons that most people go through negative situations because of these following 12 things that I'm getting ready to say. Love, like, appreciated, valued, wanted, needed, to be validated, to be a part of something, to be approved of, to be accepted, for somebody to know your worth, and to prove something to people that you really shouldn't be proving nothing to in the first place. So during Castaway, Tom Hanks had to first of all accept where he was at. So first of all, he had to figure out the situation that happened. Then he had to accept the situation that happened. Then he had to figure out how he got there. Then he had to get used to the situation. In other words, the consequences and repercussions, the karma that comes with what happened. So now once he deals with the consequences and repercussions and karma, now it's, okay, now that I've dealt with all of this, the emotional from it, now that I have went through this situation, and I now know how I got here, now I got to figure out how to get out of it. So now after you've dealt with the situation, now you got to heal from what you've learned from the situation and all the damage that has been done internally and externally. And then once you do that, then you'll be able to go ahead and start trying to learn from it, grow from it, evolve from it, elevate from it, mature from it, figure out how, based on what you learned, how I'm going to get out of the situation. How am I going to make it through the situation? And then put the action based on the choices, decisions, and all of that based on this next thing, research. Because once you research the situation and once you assess the situation as far as, where you are, then you'll figure out how to get out of the situation. Then once you get out of the situation and once you learn from it, now you can grow and elevate from it. And now you can basically, now if something like that was happening again, you now know how to deal with it. So each time you deal with something, it may be different because of the person that you're dealing with. So you might have people that be dealing with the same thing repeatedly, but that's because you haven't changed. In other words, growth. You haven't grown from it. So because you haven't grown and you haven't evolved and you haven't, healed from the situation, you're now in the same position. So that's the reason a lot of people are going through what they're going through, because they have allowed people to make them feel less than what they are. They've allowed people to tell them who they are as a person. They've allowed negative people to make them feel like they're not good enough and they're not worthy. And that right there, I have a problem with. Because how are you going to tell me I'm not good enough when you have no idea what your skills are? So some examples of this is when you tell your parents, I want to be a singer, and your parents telling you, nope, I want you to be a lawyer. So it's not about what your child wants, it's about what you want. And then you have a lot of parents that are sitting there here making a lot of money off their kids, and then when their kids turn 18, they have absolutely nothing to show for what they've done for 18 years. None. These are good. Let me try one of these. Okay, mushrooms. I love me some mushrooms. So when it comes down to darkness, There's not one person that has not went through some type of darkness. There's not one person that's not going to go through some type of trauma or some type of depression or some type of anxiety, whether it's medical or whether it's internal or external. So it can be a medical situation, it could be a emotional situation, it could be a mental, psychological, or an external situation. So when you think about external, it comes to injuries, when it comes to bruises, when it comes to your external, like if you was to break your leg, how it looks, if you bruise your leg, if you cut your leg, anything that you do externally to yourself, then you're hurting yourself and you're causing damage to yourself. But mentally and psychologically is internal healing. So it's not just about healing physically. And just because the bruises are healed does not mean that mentally and psychologically you are over that situation. Because that's not true. So the fact that you have people out here, y'all, these mushrooms are good. The fact that you have people that are out here acting like they're okay and they're not okay. A lot of people who are bullying you is dealing with some type of abuse, or they're just downright evil. So you're gonna have people that's gonna sit up here and tell you that you're not good enough and that you're not worthy and that you don't belong and that you don't deserve to be happy and you don't deserve to have a man and you don't deserve to have this because you're not this. My whole thing is I don't care if you think I don't deserve to have a man. Honey, you're not the person that's gonna determine that. That'll be the higher power. The higher power is gonna determine whether I have a man or not. And really, not me not having a man may not be such a bad thing because guess what? It gives me a chance to focus on me. It gives me a chance to achieve my goals. It gives me a chance to do things that I probably wouldn't have done if I would have been with a man. Because if I'd have been with a man, I'd have been too busy focusing on him and lowering myself and me being miserable because I'm sitting here lowering myself for somebody who don't even appreciate me as a woman, who doesn't even appreciate what I do, who's out here messing around with multiple women and doing all these negative things to me. So I'm glad, to be honest, that I am single at this point because now I can do all of the things I've always wanted to do. So let me give you an example of something that bothered me that I saw today. Me and my sister follow each other on social media, right? And we do. And she posted a video of my cousins. I guess they had came down to Atlanta or whatever, and all of them were hanging out. And I was just watching the video, and the first thing that came to my mind is it's funny how they can always go see everybody else, but they can't come see me. They can't even check on me. And in my mind, I felt like my family don't even care about me at all. I don't even feel like I'm a part of the family, to be honest. And it kind of hurt me because I was like, well, it's funny how they don't never call and check on me. And really, when I got sick and I had emergency gallbladder surgery, I really, after that, I made the decision not to call people. I went after a sex cult and they contacted my family and my friends and they got me fired from my job and they every day were harassing and bullying me all the time, contacting my family, lying to my family, saying I'm harassing and bullying somebody and I wasn't doing nothing of the sort. They tried to cause problems between me and both my exes and bringing them on live and trying to get them to say bad things about me, but that backfired. They called my landlord trying to say I was on Section 8. They called the police making false allegations to the point I almost could have gotten shot because they said that I was stealing, knowing I'm not stealing anything. And I had to deal with a racist cop that kept trying to find things to basically take me downtown for, and that didn't backfire, and that didn't work. I got accused of so many things that weren't even accurate, that weren't even funny. My whole entire audience pretty much abandoned me. So, you know, I learned that with people, they're just flighty. As long as you're doing what they like, everybody likes you. But the minute you tell them no, the minute you decide that you don't want to bring them on your journey, either they're gonna try to destroy you or they're gonna leave you. So I learned a very valuable lesson in that. That as long as you are doing for other people, they will most definitely come and they'll be around you. And then I saw something on TikTok today that made me cry. and it was a man that had issues and he had a disability. He had a really hard time with trying to eat his food because he kept shaking really, really bad. And I don't know from strokes or what it was, but nobody wanted to help him. And this young lady decided to sit down and help him eat. And then another lady who was celebrating her birthday saw this man sitting by himself, and he was by himself blowing out a candle. She walked up to him, took the cake from her birthday, and Ashley sat down and wished him happy birthday. No, she bought him a cake, sat down and wished him a happy birthday. A lot of people don't understand how it will make somebody's day when you do something nice for them. A person that doesn't have friends, and if you see them sitting alone, there's nothing wrong with sitting there and watching them and coming and sitting down and have a conversation with them. I think the greatest friends are people that just see somebody randomly sitting by themselves and just sit down and have a conversation. Ask them, is this seat taken? And you can come and sit down with them and have a conversation and get to know them. You might find that they're actually a great person. But no, we judge people on what people look like. We judge people on what they have, how much money they have, what they can do for you, sex, and all these other things. But we don't judge a person for who they are as a person. So it's really sad how this world can be so godforsaken cruel. People can see people on this, and don't get me wrong, there are people out here that do scam people, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't protect yourself. But it is nothing for you to be nice and help somebody that is in need. If an old woman needs help getting some and trying to, reach something at the store, it ain't nothing for you to sit there and help that person. So when it comes to recovery, we've all been through things, but as a life coach, it's my job to help you to take action and help you to overcome the things that you're recovering from and helping you to move forward. Because in order for you to do better, you have to be better. You can't keep going through the same thing, dealing with the same people. And a good example of this is people that go to jail. There are a lot of people that go to jail and they get out of jail and they still don't have any opportunities because they're being judged because they went to jail. So they have no chance of having a better life. And so they end up going right back to what's familiar, selling drugs, going right back to certain things because they have no way of being able to pay their bills, no way to take care of their family. And with parole, you have to work. And then these people are working these jobs that are not even worth it. So they end up going back to doing crime. I saw a woman that was a parole officer, I don't know, not a probation officer. She was a correctional officer. Fell in love with a felon, got him out of prison, went on a run, and when they got caught, she ended up unaliving herself, leaving her child to be raised by her mother, who I don't know how old her mother is only, and who knows, this woman could have had a disability for all you know. So a lot of people don't never think about the consequences and repercussions to their actions until after they've done the negative thing they've done. Now all of a sudden you want to commit suicide because you don't want to deal with the consequences of your actions. You don't want to go to jail for the rest of your life. So now you want to sit up here and just, unalive yourself thinking you still gonna go to heaven. No, because if you commit suicide, you go into hell. That's in the Bible. So that's the reason why I decided to become a life coach, because I myself have been bullied, I've been harassed, I've been threatened, I've been stalked. So my life coaching is about helping people to recover from multiple facets of situations negatively that have happened that will not only hurt people but also destroy people. So I'm going to fill these mushrooms up all the way to the top. These mushrooms are really, really good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting up the tomatoes first, and then the cucumbers. So that's how I'm doing it. So the cucumbers and the tomatoes, I'm gonna see how many are in there. They might go in that container, but we'll see. But I decided to put the mushrooms in a different container, and then I'm gonna get ready to cut the chicken and put that in a different container as well. So while I'm cutting this, the chicken is actually cooked, so I can go ahead and cut that after I cut the onions and everything up. The onions are gonna be the last thing I'm gonna cook because they're gonna make me cry. And onions always make me cry. So like I said, when it comes to recovery, you can't act like the person who you thought loved you didn't hurt you. And a lot of y'all want to blame yourself, talking about, well, if I did this, I wouldn't have been hurt. No, you didn't do anything wrong. That's the first thing. Stop blaming yourself for something somebody else did. All you did was do the right thing. All you did was be a godly person. That's the only thing you did. You didn't do anything else except be a godly person. And by being a godly person, you shouldn't keep blaming yourself for people that wronged you. Now, should you have seen the signs that this person wasn't what they said they are? Yeah, you probably should have. But when we're in love and when we are seeing what we want to see versus what's truly there, we're not going to see the signs. That is something I've learned, that basically, even though the signs are there, if we're in love, then we're not going to necessarily see the signs that we're supposed to see. So most of these other ones, I'm not even going to break. I'm just going to just break them down. But even though we probably should have seen the signs, it doesn't mean that you're going to. And don't feel bad because you don't. Because all you did was do what is in vows: love, honor, cherish, and sickness and health, forsaking all others, doing only on to that person. So a lot of people go back because they are gluttons for punishment. They don't think they deserve anything better because somebody's been telling them their whole entire life they're not good enough. And they haven't had anybody to tell them that they're worthy. And that's why a lot of people end up in the negative situations they go through because of what their parents did to them. And so being that their parents did what they did to them, now they're allowing other people to do that to them. I'm an example of that. So, like I said, when I saw that video of my sister and my family, I just realized that I don't have family at this point. That my family really don't care about me like that. It is what it is. And people say, well, you don't pick up the phone either. First of all, I've always tried. I'm to the point now, I'm not picking up the phone for nobody. And it's not that I'm trying to be mean, but it's just the fact I'm tired of always being the one to always have to pick up the phone. I'm always the one that got to reach out to everybody. I'm always the one that tries to bring people together, and they don't never want to, do anything. There've been many times I've been trying to get my family to do family trips, and they don't want to do it. So I just realized my family don't care nothing about me. It's like I don't even exist as far as that is concerned. And so my family is actually people that actually are my actual friends. They treat me more like family than my own family do. And it's sad that one of my homegirls, her daddy, treats me like a daughter. So that's who my family is. So sometimes our family is not always going to be our immediate family. So some people just don't have family like that. Their family don't care nothing about them. Their family don't even care if they live or die. Their family don't even call and check on them to even check to see if they still breathing. Their family don't even come down to even visit them. So, even though this is my 50th birthday this year, I probably will be spending my 50th birthday alone. My 49th birthday, I think from my 40, I would say from when I left my ex of 7 years, from 2015 to 2024, I have spent my birthday alone. I didn't do anything for my birthday. I didn't go anywhere for my birthday because I had medical issues. And because I had medical issues, I really, as far as driving and stuff in 2018, was when I wasn't able to drive. 2017 was when my life completely changed medically, and I haven't been the same since. But now I'm getting the help from some very great, phenomenal doctors that are helping me through my journey. I am doing things to better myself, which is why I'm sitting here prepping now, because I'm going to actually be more so cooking dishes than going out to eat. I'm going to actually be, getting an exercise machine. I'm going to order a treadmill. I'm going to order a squat machine, and then I'm going to order either a stepper, or I'm going to order a squat machine, a treadmill, and I might get a stepper or a bike, a cycle bike. And I'm going to basically be doing my exercises in the evening. And I might decide to alternate between walk, because what I'm going to do is the treadmill is going to help me when it comes to walking. So to get my 1,000 steps in. I also learned through this journey when it comes to my overall health and wellness that calories really don't matter when it comes to health. And the reason I say that because you go to the gym and then turn around and eat, all them calories that you ate ain't gonna do nothing but go right back on your system. So calories really don't matter. So it's not really about the calories, it's about the type of calories that you're eating. So if you're eating healthy calories, then it don't matter because you're not gonna gain weight if you're eating vegetables. But you will gain weight if you're eating calories that are like sugar or starch or a lot of carbs. Those are gonna make you gain weight. Because even with vegetables, now I found out that even with vegetables, they have carbs as well. They have calorie, not carbs, but calories. So tell you the truth, you're gonna have calories no matter what. There's no way around it. But really, it's about the carbs. So if you have something that doesn't have, carbs at all, then you'll be good. Or if they may have 1-2% of carbs, then you're good. But when you start eating a bunch of sugar, a bunch of carbs, a bunch of salt, and a bunch of sugar, that's not going to be good for you at all. So I just want people to understand that, nobody's perfect. Everybody has their things they have to deal with. Now I still got a bunch of mushrooms left. So I think I'm probably gonna cut as many as I can to go in here. As y'all can see, this is where all my mushrooms are going into for the week because I'm gonna be using these mushrooms to be able to make eggs, to make different dishes. So when I make the pasta for my meatballs, some of this is going into the pasta and boiling in with the pasta and then drained and then put in the oven and then baked. So I'm using these mushrooms for that. So the rest of these mushrooms. So I'm probably gonna use these also for a salad as well. But the one thing I also learned that I'm working on is my attention span. So I decided to go back to doing some reading. So instead of me being on social media, I'm going to be reading. I'm really excited about my life coaching business. I am going to be working on. I have a course that I have worked on, but I found out that the people that were doing my website, I think, scammed me out of money. Luckily, I didn't pay them all the money, but I've been trying to get my stuff to be able to get in to get my course that I created. Luckily, I remember it, so I can still create it. But I got to figure out how to go about creating a course or trying to get an app where I can create a course, but I still haven't figured out which one to use. Some of them are just entirely too expensive per month. So I don't know if I can find somebody to create an app that would be able to help people build a course, but also help them to build a website. Would definitely be great. So at the end of the day, it took me a lot to learn to love myself. It took me a lot to accept things for what they are. Not everybody's going to appreciate you and value you. Not everybody's going to want you. Not everybody's going to accept you. All of those things that we want from other people, we have to learn to find within ourselves first before we find those in other people. Because the people who you think accept you, they don't accept you. They're just using you. You're just a stepping stone to help them to get where they need to get to. And then when they do get where they need to get to, they're going to act like you don't exist. Honey, I've had a lot of people do that to me. So now I don't even worry about it. I didn't even get mad about it. But yeah, it did take me aback that my family members that I haven't seen in God knows how long don't even call, don't even check on me, don't even make sure I'm good. When I was in the hospital, I don't even think they care. So at the end of the day, that's why I try to be here as long as I can for my son. Because I really don't think my family going to be there for me if something happens to my mom, my dad, or me when it comes to my child. I don't really think they're going to be there like that. And I'm one of the people that when I was going through the situation with a sex cult and people decided they wanted to call my family, I'm just sitting there like, why in the world are you calling my family when y'all don't understand me and my family are not close? And knowing them, my family would probably believe that I would probably do some mess like that, even though I wouldn't. But, it is what it is. But like I say to people all the time, Some people are not close to their family. Some people don't even have a relationship with their family because of the way they were treated. Some people don't even F with their family at all. In any capacity do they F with them. And that's because of what they went through with their family. And the fact that I'm sitting here eating mushrooms, y'all, really good. Because of the fact that you're different. There are people that are the black sheep of the family, not because they're negative, but because they don't fit the reputation of the family. They're not their sibling, or they don't live up to the expectations, and they don't want to either. There are some people that don't want to live up to other people's expectations. They want to live up to their own. You have people that basically have accepted things for what they are, and they're just like, okay, well, you don't like me, that's fine. I really don't care if you don't like me or not. I'm not gonna lose no sleep about you hating me. I'm not gonna lose no sleep about you not liking me, because honestly, I don't really care. So if you're gonna cook, make sure that you meal prep your stuff and make sure it's meal prepped. And the funny thing enough, I still got all of these in here left over. So I'm gonna put as many of them as I can in here. I'm hoping I can put them all in here. But if I can't, whatever's left over, then I will. But because I'm cutting them so small, I might be able to. I've been doing them one by one, but I'm trying to pull them all out. But I think they all will fit. I think all of these will fit in there if I cut them up small enough. So if I cut these like small enough, they probably will all fit in there. So I haven't exactly learned how to cut things like everything all at one time. I just do them one at a time. Cause like I said, I one thing about me, I love to cook. But what I normally see how they do it is they put everything in the middle and just go. It's my first time. Now, if you have a bigger knife, you might have better luck. But me, and I'm using the knife that I'm doing. So, most people use a bigger knife. I'm just using a small one. But as you can see, I'm cutting them as small as I can cut them based on what I see, but also making a mess. And my grandmother always told me, if you don't make a mess while you're cooking, then you're not cooking. If everything looks and there's no mess, fellas, then she didn't cook. She went and bought. A person that basically cooked, trust me, you're gonna see dishes in the godforsaken sink. You're gonna see stuff everywhere. So it's not gonna be like she just, number one, she's gonna be very dirty, and you're gonna see dishes. And most time, most women who cook, pretty much the man comes over while she's making the dish, so he can help. So most women, like I said, like myself, I like for a man to help me cook. I like a man to help me prep. Now, if we both can cook, then that's even better, because then he can help. We can actually make a dish together. And I say it's nothing more romantic than somebody that can help you cook, honestly, truly speaking. So if you can find somebody that will help you cook a dish, like if your date is gonna be more so y'all cooking together, taking a cooking class, that's one of the best dates, because you're doing something together and you're working as a team, and you can see how that person is when it comes to teamwork. It also tell you how they are when it comes to being disappointment or not doing so well. So that's why I tell people, you don't never know how somebody is until you see them in a group activity, or you see them around their friends and you see them around their family. That's when you see how they are. So like I said, even though, I've I've had to accept a lot about my life that I wasn't thrilled about, then guess I had to deal with it. So I'm not really surprised by my family not coming to visit me. I'm not surprised that on my birthday I'm gonna be by myself on my birthday. Like I said, it ain't like nobody gonna plan anything for my birthday. They never do. You know, I sit there and I watch all these other girls and other women, men plan them these big old nice trips. But for me, that is not my situation. So that's not how it works for me. So now I'm probably gonna take and keep a little bit. Let me find something to the side. I'm gonna use this because the mushrooms I'm gonna put in my salad. I'm just gonna put them in here. So, like I said, I'm used to disappointment. I'm used to, you know, people not checking on me to make sure I'm okay. I'm used to people thinking I'm strong, like I'm not weak and I don't have feelings. You know, I'm pretty much used to it, honestly. So I have a little bit of mushrooms. I'll put a little bit more because I like a lot of mushrooms in my salad. So I got enough in here to put in my salad. So that takes care of that. And so now I have finished my salad. So now I can close this out. And I'm still gonna use the same spoon because I'm you know, it's not like meat and then something else. So the meat's gonna be the last thing I'm gonna do because it's cooked. So now I'm gonna wrap this up, back up, and then put it to the side until I get ready to make my salad. So now what I'm getting ready to do is cut up the tomatoes and the cucumbers, and I'm gonna put them in this container or in that container. I don't know yet because with the onions, with the meat, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna cut the tomatoes. It's not that many tomatoes. It's about this much tomatoes, and there's 2 cucumbers. So I'm gonna cut the cucumber first, and then cut these, and then I'm gonna rinse off my thing because and dry it, and then I'm gonna do the onions that's gonna go into the meat that's gonna go into that container, and then I'm gonna do that and get them together. So if I don't do anything, I'm probably gonna end up making a salad. So it just depends. So I'll probably just be ended up making a salad. So now that I have my nice little uh, peeler, I'm going to cut just smally this part, and then I'm going to um, put them in the little bag. Yeah. Put them in everything in this little bag. It's gonna go in this little bag. And it's gonna go in the other bag. So now with these, even though this does not look like a cucumber to me, and I gotta get rid. And also when it starts getting light, turn on light when you're trying to do this stuff because you don't want to cut your hand. So now I'm just gonna cut the cucumber and then put the things to the side because the reason I do this is because most of the chemicals is on here. So I always my mom always told me, she said, when you do the cucumber, just cut off the peel of it because that's where most of the actual chemicals are coming from. So you definitely want to cut the peel off. So that way you won't have to worry about any issues of getting sick because you're cutting the peel off. So you may have to cut a little bit, but this makes it easier for me when it comes to cutting a cucumber. And so this makes it a little bit easier for me. So like I said, everybody goes through some type of darkness. Everybody goes through a situation where they're not always going to be chosen and somebody else is going to get picked before you. Everybody has been in a situation where they've been followed. Nobody in this world has been perfect. Even the people who you think are perfect, trust me, they're not. They're not as perfect as you think they are. They have just as many issues, if not more. The people who are bullying you, you're going to find out they have a bunch of issues, and you're going to be like, wait a minute. But even though they did what they did to you, you still give them grace because you realize the whole time they've had all these issues going on that had nothing to do with you. They were just mad because they couldn't be like you. They couldn't be smart. Because there are a lot of people that are actually very attractive, that are very smart, but they're told they can't be smart. They can't be anything except pretty. And to me, that's sad. It's sad that there are a lot of beautiful people that actually are very intelligent and very smart, but are told they can't be smart, they can't be beautiful, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But that is what they're told. So with the cucumbers and tomatoes, they probably will fit in here because it's not that many. So I'm gonna go ahead and do both of these. But yeah, it is sad that you got people out here who think they can basically tell somebody who they are. A lot of people that are going through things that really they don't deserve to go through. And the only reason they went through it because they want to be loved. They just want somebody to love them. They wanted somebody to care for them. They wanted somebody to be there. And they thought this person that was coming into their life was going to be there when in all actuality this person was just there to use them. So there are a lot of people that want to be used and they want to be taken advantage of. And then there are other people that really don't. They're just really good people that just ended up in bad circumstances because of negative people. Them trying to be like other people instead of being themselves is the reason they got into the situation in the first place. Because if they would have just loved themselves, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in, unfortunately. And that's the sad part about it. You have people out here that they went through because of the fact they just wanted somebody to like them. It's just like Amanda Bynes and all those kids that went through what they went through with the Nickelodeon situation. I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I plan on watching it. But it's sad that everybody thought that Amanda Bynes just went crazy for no reason, and now people know what this young girl went through, and now everybody feel bad. Just like with Chad Boseman when he was going through cancer. He didn't tell nobody. He didn't tell Marvel he had cancer. So Marvel didn't have time for them to talk about what would happen if he passed away. But I wish he would have talked to him about it. Because that way, if he'd have talked to him about it, he could have made decisions like before the next Black Panther. I wish he'd have talked to them before he passed away. So that way they could have known as far as what direction to take when it comes to T'Challa's character versus, just unaliving him off, which I don't know why they did that. But I guess the son is gonna be the Black Panther. That's gonna be pretty much gonna be in the comics, which I'm okay with. So I guess that T'Challa is gonna be the one that's gonna be with Storm. So like I said, at the end of the day, everybody goes through something. There's not one person that's not going through something or some type of change. So I'm, not too surprised by, people, trying to figure things out, people not feeling they're good enough, not feeling that they're worthy because of the fact of what they've been through. So it is kind of sad, but at the end of the day, what can you do? So I've cut these into small because they're smaller like cucumbers. And the good thing about these, whatever I don't use, I can put vinegar and make some pickles. I actually bought some pickles. So you're gonna have to use cucumbers to make pickles. All you need is some dill, salt, pepper, and apple cider vinegar. That's all you need. So that's what I'm doing now. So now I'm cutting up the cucumbers. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the mushrooms. I'm going to put them to the side, the ones that I'm gonna be using. And that way it won't be mixed up, and then the rest of them will be mixed in with tomatoes. So like this one's a little too big, so then I will cut it in half. But other than that, the rest of it will go in there. So I'm gonna so yeah, this fits the it'll fit the cucumbers and the tomatoes in there perfectly. And then this one, since these are already to the side as far as the mushrooms, I'll just put them to the side in a bowl, small little bowl. The cucumbers I'm gonna be using for my salad because I'm gonna be actually putting my salad in a bowl. So all I gotta do is just rinse off the spinach and the cucumbers and the tomatoes, and then we should be good. So what I normally do with my cucumbers, I have some baking salt, salt, and baking soda. That's what I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna take it and I'm going to basically, essentially, go ahead and soak it in that, or soak it in salt. Like I'll take these cucumbers, and I'm going to soak them. So like you see it, what I mean? I'm gonna show y'all what my cucumbers look like. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I know this video is a little longer than what it's supposed to be, but this is what prepping. I'm showing y'all what a lot of people on the cooking network doesn't show you. These are the cucumbers. Okay. Now I might use this one temporarily and then put them back in here. If not, I might have to get a bigger bowl because I don't think this is gonna be big enough for my actual thing. So you know what? I'll put my cucumbers in here, except the ones that are going on top of my salad, which is about that many. So being it's going in a bowl, I'm probably gonna take a couple of these off. And no, I'll keep them in there because I like to make my salad with a whole cucumbers. So now we have the cucumbers that's left in here. And then when I get done, when I do this, then I'll cut the chicken. The chicken is gonna go on top, and that's what I'm put in here. So right now, this gonna go in here, and then whatever's left as far as the chicken is concerned, after I cut it up, will go into another container. So now that I have cut my cucumbers up, these are the onions that I'm gonna be using to go into my meatballs. So I'm gonna pour these in here first, and then cut up the rest of the. I'm gonna go ahead and put my meat in the actual thing so I can season it. And then once I do that, then I'm gonna go ahead and mix the onions. But I'm gonna cut the onions a little, probably about this small. So this might be enough, but it may not. So I'm gonna cut a little bit more and put them in here. And then when I get done, the rest of the onions that I'm gonna make for my omelets, my whatever it is I choose to make, will go in here. So prepping, a lot of people don't show what prepping looks like and how much time consuming it is to prep. Oh, it is time consuming. This right here is my little drink that I be drinking. This is a mango, and this is the packets that I use. These have no sugar, nothing. These are very good. So if you want to get your kids to drink something, get these and make Kool-Aid out of these versus getting regular Kool-Aid. These are actually pretty good for you. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start getting ready to put my tomatoes and cutting them up and putting them in my salad. So what I do is I go and I go ahead and cut my tomatoes, and the bigger ones I cut in fours. That's normally what I do. I cut them, and then the rest of them are going into the other bowl, because I have a whole big old bag of spinach over there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get a bowl, and I'm gonna go ahead and plate my salad. So I'm gonna do a 2-part video showing y'all me prepping to get ready to prep for me making meatballs. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook the meatballs, and when I get done with those, then I will go ahead and once I go ahead and do those, then I will go ahead and start. So I want to make sure I have enough tomatoes to go in here. I love tomatoes. They're really, really good. But I am changing a lot of the things I eat because of the fact of my health. So I'm doing that. So I think this should be enough tomatoes. Yes, I think it should be. So it's gonna have spinach. It's gonna have tomatoes, cucumbers, some of that the rotisserie meat that I have bought, and then it's gonna have a little bit of turkey. So I'm gonna do turkey, all that in a bowl, and then because that's probably what I'm gonna eat tonight. But I do want to go ahead and get my meatballs already ready. So tomorrow, when I make the dish, the meatballs are already done in the oven. So I'm gonna try to look up a recipe for doing those. So this is my salad right here. So now I'm gonna cut the rest of this up. these tomatoes. And once I get done with those, then I will do the onions and I will do all the other stuff. So y'all, I don't want to keep y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up because I wanted to go ahead and cut those mushrooms. I'm probably gonna end up cutting some more mushrooms. So, like I said, with those with the meatballs, I don't know if I'm gonna add the mushrooms inside of them. I really don't know yet. I might. It just depends on if what I choose to do. So now what I'm just doing is just cutting these in half because with the spinach is different than using the romaine lettuce. You can just cut these in half. You don't have to necessarily do like you do romaine because romaine I cut them in fours, but these you don't have to because with the lettuce with spinach lettuce is completely different. So I try to just go ahead and cut them up. And so the one thing I try to, and the reason I want to do the mushrooms differently, because I can use them, I can do the mushrooms with different dishes. So I also have another pack of mushrooms in there as well that I probably will cut up very soon. And I probably will cut them up tomorrow. And so that way they can be ready for when I decide to cook after I use these. So after I use these, I will sit my butt down and I will cut up the rest of those mushrooms now that I know they fit and cut them up and put them in there for whatever I'm gonna make for next week. So it just depends on what I choose to do. So now I'm just cutting these nice little tomatoes in here. And if they feel kind of weird, then don't even mess with them. That means they're going bad. So if they feel a little bit weird, then don't cut them because they're gonna end up going bad. So just make sure you pay attention. If they feel a little bit, then like I said, this will be gone by them because I'm eating these with a salad. So I'm just trying to make sure that they're okay. But yeah, if they start to feel kind of funny, don't cook them. Don't use them. That means they're about to go bad. But being I'm about to use them for tomorrow, it don't matter. But like I said, a lot of people are going through darkness right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are going through things and they're asking themselves, why is this happening to me? What have I done? I've been doing the right thing, but yet I'm homeless. Now I have nowhere to stay. Now, I don't know how to go about dealing with this situation, how to go about handling it, considering the fact that I'm in this predicament that I shouldn't be in the Godforsaken first place. So let me just say it like this here. You ain't the only one going through it. There is somebody going through something way worse than what you're going through. And like I said, it's not how you fall, it's how you rise. So at the end of the day, we all have been led and been bamboozled and led astray. There's not one person that has not, in some aspect, been led astray by somebody and leading us to negative situations that we really don't want to go through. But at the end of the day, like I said, sometimes you're going to be pulled away from the world for a while and you are going to be alone and you're not going to have nobody with you. And what that means in layman's terms is your relationship with God or whatever you want to call the higher power, whatever based upon your religion. So while you're alone, it's your time with the higher power. It's your time for you and the higher power to basically come together to repent for your wrongs, to heal from what you've gone through, and having God to lead you on the path that's going to be your new beginning. And so while you're on this path, you may encounter some very nice people because while I've been on my journey of being alone, I have encountered some phenomenal, great people. I really have. I have encountered some, really interesting people. But like I said, at the end of the day, I understand what I'm up against, and I'm really okay with that. So now I'm done with the mushrooms. I am done with that. And so here's the spinach that I'm going to be using from Wally World. And as I tell y'all, I always look at the back of this, and it is 25 calories, 1% carbohydrates, 7% fiber, no sugar, no salt, no fat, 16 calcium, 15% iron, 10% potassium, and 2% of protein. So yes, I'm making a spinach salad. So all I'm gonna do now is take and mix this together. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to end up taking them out. This is what I'm gonna have for tomorrow for my salad. So when I get through making my salad, all of that's going back in here, or either way. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to go ahead and take a paper towel and wipe this down, and then do this. And then once I get done with this, then I'm gonna cut them up, put them in here, and then I'm pretty much done as far as my prep. And then the only thing I have to do is just take the meatballs, the meat that's in here, mush it together, get me an actual get me a pan, do my meatballs. Some of them may be going back in the freezer, some of them may not. Or, cause like I said, what I'm doing is I'm making chicken Alfredo, and I'm making the linguine, and I'm using turkey meat instead of chicken meat. And I am going to be using meatballs. So the sauce and the noodles are going to be to the side. And then I'm going to actually fry, not fry because I don't want to fry them because I'm not frying anything. But my meatballs are going into the oven. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my noodles when they get almost done. And then when they get almost done, then I'm putting all the seasonings into here, into my meat, mixing it together, and then putting them in the oven. Then when they go in the oven, while they're cooking about 5, 10, 8 or 9 minutes before they get ready to get done, you don't want to cook your meatballs all the way thoroughly done. Leave them in there for maybe about, a good 10, 15, 20 minutes. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take the meatballs and you're gonna actually take them and you're going to, yes, tomatoes. You're going to take them and you're gonna mix them in with you're gonna take the linguine noodles and you're gonna put them separate. You're gonna put them in there, and then you're gonna put the meatballs in there, mix them all together. No, and then you're gonna take 1 can of linguine, the linguine sauce, and put it in there, and then you're gonna basically cook them with the chicken broth, a little bit of water, so that way it gives the noodles a little bit of flavor. And then you're going to, once it gets in there, take the sauce, put it in a bowl. You're gonna stir it around, make sure that it's stirred completely thoroughly. I'm also might put a little bit of chicken in there as well, but I'm gonna keep the rotisserie because I'm probably might do something else with that, but who knows. So that's pretty much it for me. So let me grab me a paper towel. And then I will cut my nice little onion, put it in here. And then the next video, I'll show you how to put all the stuff together. And go from there. So I might do another video showing y'all how I put this together. If I don't do the noodles today, I at least want to do the, ooh, just dropped y'all. I just dropped y'all. This is why I wish I had a cameraman or something. Don't y'all love when you make mistakes? Okay. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, I got me a new desk. So I got me a brand new desk, so I'm moving things around. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I'm doing right now. It's just getting everything prepped for my D&D. So when you cut onions, right, I need you to understand, cut them as small as you can cut it, because when you're using them in turkey meat, you want them cut as small as you can. You don't want them to be too big. You don't want it where you see the onions. So you want them pretty small. And I'll show y'all before I commence to finishing cutting these up. You want them about that small, maybe a little bit smaller. So what I might do with these, because they're a little bit bigger than I want them to be, I will take them, since I have a little bit of time. And so what I would do is I would just take my knife and make them a little bit smaller than what they are now. And the reason I'm doing that is because, again, I'm putting them into, also, if you have a grinder, you can grind these, actually. you can actually grind them. But the reason you want them smaller than, than they are now is because, again, you're pretty much putting them into hamburger meat or chicken meat, turkey meat. And because you're making meatballs, you don't have any idea how small or how big they're going to be. So you definitely want them to be kind of small. So that way, when you get ready to, to prep and mix them in with the hamburger meat, they're not so big. That way you don't have to worry about them being so big. So this is what I'm using in my actual stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and stack my salad. So let me go ahead and do that. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that first before I start cutting these up. I'm gonna go ahead and make my salad right quick because I have everything all together. So the first thing I'm gonna do is rinse off. The lettuce should be good because it's in a bag, so it should be pretty good. I'm gonna wash my hands. So give me 1 second, and then I'm gonna turn the light on, and then I'm gonna grab me a bowl, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna put my salad together. And I gotta get the turkey meat too. So give me 1 second. Hopefully I can find a bowl that's gonna be big enough to put my salad in, because I like big salads. So hold on a second. So like I said, I really like my salads kind of big because the fact of the matter of, and I mean, I do have time to actually make the dish. Don't get me wrong, I really do have the time to make it and put it all together. But, I don't know if I'm going to. So I'm going to find a bowl. Okay, now I got it. I need to get bowls that are a little bit bigger for a salad, but that's what I'll do. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. Let me go turn the light on so y'all can see, because it's going to start getting dark. Even though it's still daylight, it gets kind of dark in the light on top of here. I can't reach to change the light, so let's do this. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our lettuce here, which is that, and we're gonna add. You want to add just enough to fill it because you're adding other things in with it. This should be enough for me. Okay. So the second thing, after I do this, I'm gonna make sure I put a pin on this and wrap this up. So now it's gonna stay over there. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and push down a little bit. Just make sure it's pushed down because you want to add everything to it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add my cucumbers that are gonna go on top. Make sure y'all can see me. So I'm putting my cucumbers on top first. And you know what? It ended up being a perfect amount, to be honest. I love cucumbers. So I'm putting the cucumbers on top. And that should be, I always make sure I have enough. And sometimes what will happen when you put the cucumbers, they're going to drop. And that's okay if they drop. So I'm going to show y'all as I go through this. That's my cucumbers. And then the rest of the cucumbers that I don't use is going into that container, which in terms is going into this one. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my nice little tomatoes. I make sure they're spread out. I like my tomatoes spread out. So, you want to spread it out. And I'm going to actually take a picture of this before I eat it. So, and I will let y'all know how it tastes, but I would like to at least, I want to at least take a picture of it before I decide to devour it. But it's gonna be good. So yeah, most time I do try my food, but sometimes I like to take a picture of it and then eat it. But I'm not eating this right now because I still gotta make the pasta and I still gotta make everything else. So y'all will see me eat the salad when I get done with everything. So now I'm just adding the finishing touches to the tomatoes. It looks really, really good, y'all. It really does. Okay, so now I've got some tomatoes here, here. Just make sure you spread them out and make sure you have tomatoes everywhere. You don't want them too close together. You want them kind of spread out. So I'll show y'all what they look like now that I've done spread them out a little bit. My nice little tomatoes. All right, so these are gonna go back in here. So after I get done, then I'll add everything back. So go ahead and watch the hands. Now, this is where it gets fun. All right, so now I'm gonna take the mushrooms and spread them around. And you just spread them around, make them look pretty, and put them in places, whatever places is missing. So now I have a little good. Oh, yeah. Don't like I said, don't feel bad. I'm gonna tell y'all as content creators, if you make a mistake, do not feel bad and do not edit it. I'm gonna tell you why. It is okay if your stuff is not perfect. Because anything you want to show people that you're growing, and you can't show people you're growing if you don't make mistakes. And I leave it. I don't even get mad when I make mistakes. I just continue doing what I'm doing. So now I have my nice little mushrooms in here. So now I gotta cut up some meat to go on top of this. So I'm gonna do chicken today because I don't want to make this entirely too big. So now I have my nice little rotisserie here. I have a nice little, rotisserie chicken here. And so now I'm gonna take and cut some of the meat. I'm gonna cut some meat off of here. And I'm gonna cut it into small pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of the meat because there's still some meat on here. Don't mind me, y'all. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the meat that I have cut off. And that should be enough. But I'm gonna keep eating. I'll probably eat some to the side. I'm gonna cut the rest of this up and put it in a bowl. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this as small and as I can get it. So push to the side, put a little less right there. So I'm gonna cut this as small as I can cut these because you don't want them too big because you want to sprinkle them on the salad. And then the good thing about it is you can cut more if you need to. So I want to go ahead and cut it, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna sprinkle it. And if I need some more, then I will add some more. But you want it to be kind of cut, kind of small into small pieces because, again, this is not a salad bowl. Salad bowl, you can make it as big and thick as you want to, but with a regular bowl, you wanna make it as small as you can make it. Oh, I love these. I love these knives that I got. They actually work. So you want to make things as small as you can make it, and as separated as you can make it. So again, it's not about being perfect. I'm not a perfect person. It's about me doing it to my liking. So now you can do it to your liking, however how much chicken you want. Normally I would add turkey and chicken on here, but today it's gonna be chicken. Why? Because that's just the way it's going in. And then what I would do is I have some salad seasoning, and then if I have enough room after I finish, I'll put croutons on top. But you can also put it on a plate as well if you like. If it's too much, just put it on a plate. But you want to make this because of the fact that you have a plate, a bowl. You want to be able to make sure your stuff is as possible. So this is what works for me. So now I'm gonna take the meat and sprinkle it and move it around as I like. I told you it's gonna be a lot. There you go. There you go. And then whatever's left over, I will put in the inside. This is my salad. There you go. There's my salad. Put it back, wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator, and leave it until I make the rest of my dish, and then that's it. But this might be all I eat tonight. It's just a salad. This will be enough. I'm full. But that don't mean that I will not prep for whatever else it is I'm going to do for tomorrow. So I probably will go ahead and cut up the onions and then call it a day. The rest of the chicken is going in here. And then I would probably rinse off this because of the chicken and then cut the onions. And then I would get ready to do that. So now what I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and cut up the rest of this chicken. So now I'm gonna pick. This thing is crazy. Yes, so this is a nice little thing. Grab a napkin. So now I'm just gonna take the meat that's on here. Go ahead and just commence to cut, and just take it off. So that's how that goes. So all the meat that's on here, just grab it, and pull it off. That's pretty much all you do. So that's how that works. So you're pretty much just gonna be pulling meat off. And if you can pull it, just go ahead and put it in there. Because the only thing you're gonna be doing is getting the stuff that you have to cut. So if you can go ahead and just cut it and pull, then you're gonna be good. You don't have to worry about it. So you're gonna have some pieces you're gonna be able to just pull off, and then other ones you're not gonna be able to pull off. So some of it you may have to cut, but it's okay too. But at least you're getting as much meat off as you can. So I'll probably put this in a smaller bowl. So I'm just taking off all the meat that I can take off with my hands. And then go from there. So there's little pieces right there. A couple pieces down here. So yeah, so once you cut it, once you commence to cutting, you should be good. So now the only thing that's left is just the leg. And the question is, do I want the meat off the leg, or do I just want to not worry about that? So now I'm just grabbing the meat from the bottom. So I'm just sitting here grabbing all this little meat, y'all, and just having a builder. So yeah, so with meat, there's different types of meat. So if you can get it off the bone, then you are good. But normally I don't use the legs. I don't really normally even eat legs, to be honest. But I've got them because they're cheaper. So now that I am getting all this meat from up under the bottom of the chicken, whatever I can actually get from up under here, that's what I'm gonna cut. So now I got 2 legs, and I can use those legs if I want to, if I decide I want to get the meat from that. But if I don't, then I just won't. But the good thing about this is, if I make a salad, I have some chicken. So now I'm taking the last pieces that I can find off the chicken. That might be about it. There's nothing else here. Yeah, I know I'm eating it. I shouldn't be, but I'm bad me. But yeah, I think that's it as far as meat is concerned. There are a couple of little pieces, but I said I was going to use this for a salad. So if you can get as much meat off of here as you can, then grab as much as you can. And then once you do, you just put it back and throw it away. Once you get all the meat you can get off of it, then you should be good. So with that being said, that is part 1 of this episode. Part 2 is when I start getting ready to make the meatballs and the noodles. And I'm going to finish cutting the stuff that I need to cut. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Without y'all, there is no me. I'll be absolutely nothing without y'all. Y'all have been absolutely the best. And I Really do appreciate the support along with the mess. So please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button to receive notifications on my videos. And if you have anything that you would like to email me about that you're going through, that you're facing, and you want me to give you some advice or one-on-one coaching, please go to self.discovery.2.a.new.u@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to do a one-on-one session with you, one-on-one consultation. If we're a fit, then I will help you as far as your journey to being a new and better you through self-discovery. I will do everything I can to help you through what you're dealing with, because everybody has something that they're dealing with and something they're going through. So if you're interested, the email address in the description box. With that being said, I'm gonna go finish this and then I'll do part two where I actually am prepping my food, and then we'll go from there. Bye guys.